There's a shoot coming up next weekend, so I thought I'd better get the 1917 Sporter out, get it tuned up a little bit. I'm at the 200-yard bench. I'll be shooting my normal round that I shoot in this 1917. This is the Hornady 3039C Palma bullet. It's a match boat tail hollow point with a Cannelure. I run a relatively light charge of H4895. It's 45.8 grains. This rifle really likes that. I've printed some good targets and had some good scores and brought home a few certificates with that load, so that's what I stick with. So get warmed up a little bit here at 200 yards and see how the rifle's shooting. I haven't run any rounds through it in a few months, so good time to get some practice. So let's get some going here. I didn't set up a target camera today. We'll just look at the target after I print it. It's a standard 200-yard NRA target. I'll put on 5 and then walk down range and check it out. The brass is vintage FA60 match. I did shoot one fouling shot before I started the video. So there's one down range. I felt pretty good about the hold. The way the shoot works is that you can run any military rifle in a military caliber. Various times they've excluded AR platforms. I've seen that come and go. A lot of guys shoot M1s. I've shot a couple of 1891 Argentines. I thought about taking a Swede, so we'll see. I'll probably shoot this one again just because I like it so much. They shoot a shoot and see target that's the whole target face is about the size of the black of a standard 200-yard NRA target. So it's a challenging open sight shot at 200 yards. So I've had a good time at that shoot. They shoot 12 rounds and you score the highest 10. If you're going to shoot iron sights on a Milsurp, a 1917 is a good choice. I like that hold. Yeah, it's a very clean rifle. It seals good. I mean, I just get a little bit of darkening on the neck and that's all. So it's real easy on brass, especially with a light load like this. With this 3039C Palma bullet seated to the Cannelure, it's on the order of 25 thousandths off contact, so it works pretty well. 155 grain bullet, it likes it. Nothing real fancy on the brass prep. This brass was, I uniformed the primer pockets. I took the burr off the flash hole. I think this is the third firing of my loads. I believe it was once fired brass before I started, so 4 total firings. The rifle's easy on brass. These were hit with a Lee collet die after the previous firing, so didn't do anything else fancy with it. I figure with a iron sight gun probably doesn't pay to do a whole lot of brass prep. Here's shot number 5. We'll go ahead and do 10, and then that'll give us 10 to look at on the target. At the shoot, you have to use club provided front bags. They're like burlap bags that are filled with something for your front rest. You can run whatever bag you want on the reel. I typically just use a squeeze bag. And this stock doesn't do too bad set up that way. I've really enjoyed this rifle. I bought it at a gun show from a person that I've bought a few guns from, and I've really enjoyed it a lot. I don't think that he ever shot it. I think he purchased it from somebody and it kicked around in the collection, and I think he buys and sells a lot. That was number 6. Pretty warm, blustery day today. It's in the mid-90s. Humidity's not horrible though, and the wind is blowing a fair amount, so it's keeping things tolerable. The 200-yard bench here is in the shade, so it's pleasant back here at the bench. The target is illuminated pretty well right now. It's quiet at the range. I figured there might be a few people out, but the 200-yard range here, you have to be a little bit careful because when other people are around, you know, it kind of ties things up. So, you know, we have one backstop and a bench at 100 and a bench at 200, and then we can set up anywhere along the way. But if someone wanted to shoot, say, 50 yards right now, we'd you know, have to negotiate, I guess. A little bit of courtesy is all we use to manage that. If I'm shooting 200 and somebody shows up, I try to wrap it up and do something different for a while so everyone can play. I believe that at the shoot we get, I think we get 15 minutes to shoot our 12 shots. And they do have a practice period beforehand. Every time I've went to that shoot, it's been windy, very similar to today. Usually it's a wind from right to left at that range. Right now it's left to right, but rather blustery. I'm not making any wind correction right now. I don't have any flags or anything. I'm just going right at the target, and we'll see what happens. I mostly just wanted to get on the rifle. I like that hold. And I did see a puff of dirt behind the target, so I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this rifle. It's I think it's been in several videos. It's this one's a Bishop stock, and just pretty much standard 1917. Luckily, they didn't do much to it when they put it in this stock. It does have a front barrel band and an anchor up here in the front, so it's not floated. It is anchored to the stock there. It has been shooting so well that I don't even want to take, you know, there's a couple of little things I'd like to do to the rifle, but you know, I fixed the bedding on the recoil lug, and I fixed the bedding in the back on the tang. It had been starting to do a little bit of looked like at some point it may have moved a little bit, so I made sure everything was good with that and touched up the bedding and around the recoil lug in particular. But you know, if I do take it apart, I'll try to measure the torque that's on the front band, because the rifle prints very well. I've shot some 100-yard groups with this thing that have just amazed me. You know, you wouldn't think that with a full caliber rifle with iron sights that you could do things like that, but it shoots very well. All I have to do is line the sights up, keep them there. That's all I've got to do, but I fail sometimes. I've shot it a little bit at 300 yards at the same match one time that I went last year. They do it pretty much monthly. They have this shoot. There's actually 2 shoots next weekend that I might participate in. One is what they call the military rifle shoot for stuff like this, and then they have an AR-15 bench rest shoot next weekend too. So I might get the 6x45 out for that. I did bring it along today and some ammo. I haven't shot that rifle in a while either, so I thought I might, if it's quiet at the range, I might set that up and run a few rounds through it. I believe we would be shooting at 300 yards with that. I've only got an 18 power scope on that. I might, if I'm going to shoot 300 yards with it, I might put a little bit more glass on it before the match. So, and that's the same thing too. It's for score. It's not for group. I think I don't know exactly what target they shoot, but I don't think I've ever shot that rifle at 300 yards. I've only shot it at 200, so probably get it out and practice a little bit with it and see what it looks like. Okay, here we go with number 8. Now I've just been running this with the rear sight at the battle sight position, and it's been printing pretty much right on the money at 100 and 200. And if I do need any changes, I just hold off. I've never shot it with the sight elevated or anything like that. I've not done anything to the front. I did drift the front sight a little bit when I first got the rifle to bring it in. And this one's a little bit of a mix master. It's you know, various marks on it. It is an original barrel. It's dated and all that. It's got all the right marks on it. It's got a replacement bolt, so it's probably an Arsenal replaced bolt. It's one of the USMC's, the, what is it, United Shoe Machinery Company or something of that nature made replacement bolts for them. But the barrel has been performing very well. I've shot a couple of heavier bullets out of it, but it really likes these 150s and 155s. I think I started out with 150 full metal jackets, but I started trying the Hornady, the 3039C, the Palma bullet, and it really likes that bullet. It's been working real well, so why change? And the powder charge I've been tuning a little bit with Gordon's reloading tool. Used the chronograph data to fine-tune the charge to what it recommended, and it seemed to have predicted a good spot to land the powder charge. It's actually showing that IMR 4895 might be a better fit. I think that's what it was showing. So I may try that. But so far the H4895 has been doing real well. Okay, well there's 10 rounds through it. I think we should travel down range, take a look at the target, and see if I'm on the money or not. We'll see you down there. Well, it appears that the rifle picked up right where it left off the last time I had it out, where you appear to be all in the black. We scored pretty well. Let's see, let's count them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it looks like it's trying to be right here. These other things, those are probably me. I was back there talking and shooting at the same time. So these NRA 200-yard targets, the SRC, this is actually a repair center for the full-size target, and I just use these if I'm off of this. I need to do some other work, but the the 200 yard bullseye is 13 inches. So, you know, you've got a nice aiming point, and the, you know, I'd have to do the math to tell you what that is in MOA, but it's right about the same width as the front sight post on that 1917 at the distance that it is from my eye. So it's a good sight picture. I really enjoy shooting it. So if you look at the extremities of my group, it's probably about there, about 7.5, I'd say. That's probably the farthest spread. Yeah, that one's a little less, 7. Yep. So, but you know, these obviously are mistakes in my hold or my trigger pull. The rifle's trying to shoot right here, you know, and if I wasn't hosing it up, we would have a 4-inch group here at 200 yards. So I'm not disappointed with that at all. I'm gonna run some more rounds through it to get a little bit more practice, work on that sight picture, try to get, you know, I got a nice grouping here, but I don't have any in the X ring. I've only got 10. So if you look at this, I'm -1, -2, I'm -3. So I got a 97, but no X's. So, you know, got to work on that. The wind is actually, yeah, looking at the wind, I don't think that that's changing that. I think that's just my sight picture, you know, with the rifle today. If I waited an hour and shot and the light were a little different and the front sight were illuminated a little differently, it might be over here. But, you know, as I was shooting right now, it looks like the rifle's trying to group right here in the middle to, about in the middle 10 ring. Elevation can't be better here at 200 yards. That's right on the money, so I'm very happy with that. So I think I'll practice a little bit more, and hopefully the schedule will work out where I can get down to the shoot next weekend. Thanks for watching.